So I am not the smartest tool in the shed because about once a month I do something really stupid, and this is a prime example. Because I have just bought another one of my dream bikes, $5,300 later, and I've got a 2020 V2 Panigale, but it's pretty badly wrecked. Okay, so let's get this bike in the garage because I think my nightmare is about to begin. Luckily, this is not my first rodeo with a Panigale V2. You might remember this was actually the first bike that we built on this channel, and I fell in love with that bike. I wish I'd never sold it, but there was so much I wish I'd done that I'm gonna now be able to do to this bike. So I think first things first, let's do a quick tour and see exactly what is wrong with this bike and also what's pretty freaking awesome about it. Now, the most obvious thing is this front end, which is just, it's completely pancaked in like this. So the forks have bent backwards, and I reckon the forks are probably bent. The wheel here is just completely destroyed. So luckily we've got a new wheel on the way anyway. And up the top here, just here on the triple, this triple has been just like, almost like ripped apart. So that's just had because of that big hit on the front wheel, it's ripped this apart and it's broken all the steering damper as well. It's had a pretty huge crash on the front end. Luckily, most things on the back of the bike, apart from the fairings, were actually okay. So it's had some damage to the clutch here. So this actual really nice carbon cover is destroyed, but we've got a new one anyway. So I actually think that everything from here forwards just needs to be replaced. The bars, the forks, the triples, the wheel. I think the only thing I can probably keep off this front end is the brake lines and probably the calipers. Everything else is just destroyed. So why don't we have a look now at what's actually good on this bike. So while we're on good things, this rear here, this is actually a Ducati Performance tail tidy. It's one of the carbon ones. So we're gonna sell that for probably around about $200. Now these are Australian dollars, not American dollars. So don't get upset in the comments if you think my prices are wrong. It's got a SC Project 3/4 system exhaust, so we're gonna keep that. It's got, thankfully, the tank is not touched. So probably the most expensive item on the bike is in really good condition. It's got these really ugly old tank pads. They're gonna go. I mean, who puts clear tank pads on red? Yes, a dark color I can understand, but red, come on. What else has it got that's good? Okay, I'll show you in a minute when you come in, but it's actually got some really cool Rizoma red reservoirs. I think the headlight and this top fairing here can be sold. Pretty much apart from this here, the rest of the bike I think is in good condition. It does have a power commander, so a Dyno jet power commander unit. That's gonna come off it as well because this bike's gonna get a full tune. Yeah, so I think we've got a pretty good platform. Let's get into it. Let's strip this baby down and start working, stop talking. Okay, so now I'm just gonna try and actually jack up this bike so we can get the front end off. And in order to do that, I need to clear this area out. So where the fan is, because the fan's going, I need to take all this plastic off the bottom because we're gonna jack up the bike from the sump. But I'm thinking even before we do that, once I've stripped this off, we'll drain the oil and give it an oil change and a filter change first. So there's like a million of these screws have got to come out, and it's pretty tedious. And I look kind of vulnerable in this position, if you know what I mean. I'll stick my tongue out. I don't know if you can hear that. I think my neighbor is killing their child. It's really, really loud. Anyway, so we've got all our cables ready to go and start putting deletes on. We'll do that a little bit later. But all this plastic now, including the fan off the back of the radiator, including the servo motor, this can all go. We're gonna drop like 1 kilo off the bike straight away. So let's keep going. Hi there again. I'm not as flexible as I thought I was. I really need a better workshop stand. This is killing me. Last bolt, I think. Pray for me if you're religious. I'm not religious, but pray for me. Come on. Oh no, maybe not. I spoke too soon. Okay. That's off. So now I can take the fan off, but I think what I might do is just get rid of these wires first. And then let's do the oil. Cool, cool. Look, whilst we're on this side, we might as well just add some deletes. Add some deletes in. Do you add a delete in? I don't know. Anyway. We got this little package from Smart Moto. I think we could buy them from Rated R Parts, which I think is in Australia, Perth, Australia. And they send you all these little block offs, which as far as I'm pretty sure what they are is like a little resistor into a cap. Like it's just like a loop, and you just plug it in exactly where you want it. So this one is for the stand. So the stand's coming off, and I think we just plug it in like that, job done. So now the stand can come off, and that's another probably kilo saved, I'm gonna guess, off the bike. Okay, I've got the oil draining out of the bike. I'm just gonna put my magnet in to this oil and just test and see if there's any metal comes up on the magnet, because if it does, that's not good. And so far, it's looking pretty good. There's absolutely nothing on the end of that magnet. That's perfect, brilliant. Exactly what we want to see. Give that a clean. So now that that oil's coming out, I'll be able to put a new filter in, get some new oil in there, and then strip this whole front end off. Okay, old filter out. Pop that in there. New filter in. You do have to make sure it seats correctly, so you will hear a pop when you put it in, and it'll go in like an extra 5 millimeters. That's what you want. If you just push it in lightly, that's not enough. Done. Now I've also just drilled a hole inside the sump plug on the side of the sump plug, just so I can put some lock wiring on it and lock wire it to one of the fixing points on the exhaust. That way, on the racetrack, everything is lock wired down. Safety first, people. Safety first. Time for some new oil. Do you really want to see me pour oil into a motorbike? Probably not. So I figured whilst I'm working in this area, we've got some new GB Racing engine covers. I really love the carbon one that's on there, but it's just destroyed. So what I think I'll do is I'll leave some of these engine plastics here for now. I might replace them with carbon. More than likely I'll replace them with carbon, but for now I'm gonna leave them there and I'm gonna install this. So just a new GB Racing engine cover for the clutch side, and must go like that somehow. Should be easy, let's get it done. Job done. Now I've just got to torque them down to 12 Newton meters and do the other side. Okay, we're just gonna jack this up. So I've got the back all tied down, so fingers crossed nothing falls on me. But this, in theory, should just jack straight up. Might tighten that a bit more. Come on, baby, keep going straight up. Okay, the front wheels clear the ground, I think. And I think we are balanced okay. I've just got the engine block balanced on a piece of wood just here, just so it's nice and soft, nice soft piece of pine. Right, and we're cleared. So now I think we can actually start stripping down this whole front. That's gonna take a lot of weight off it as well. Well, that worked. I just gave it a couple of whacks with the soft hammer instead, and it just popped out. But look how bent that is. That is, okay, I was gonna make an inappropriate joke, but I won't. That is bad. So, good thing we got a new one of these on the way. We've got a complete new front end pretty much on the way. But the problem is, most of it's coming from Ukraine. So, it could take a while to get here. Right, next job. Now we're making progress. So the tank's off the bike as well. Now all I'm gonna do is just cover that up because I just had a look through and that filter looks brand new, even though we've got a new one coming. So I'm just gonna grab a nice, fresh new rag. There we go, brand new rag. And that's just gonna keep this safe for us, make sure nothing drops in there. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attack these plastics because all these plastics at the back are going and they're getting replaced with carbon fiber. Yeah boy, carbon fiber. That's how I roll, you know it. So let's get into it. Same day, different clothes, but I am smashing through this like so fast. It's gonna be now the wait just to get parts, and I can see that getting parts from Italy to Australia is gonna be the headache, but hopefully we've got a fairing, we've got a full front end, we've got suspension. I think it's in Australia at the moment when I buy that. The only thing I should be waiting on is the carbon order, which is coming from RPM Carbon. And fingers crossed we can build this bike quite fast, but again, it's gonna come down to parts. So the next two things I'm gonna do is more deletes. So I've deleted the side stand, deleted the rear lights, deleted the front light. We're gonna delete the evap, so the evaporative control, so that's gonna come off. And for that, I've got the evap delete kit. And then we're gonna delete the secondary air, so the AIS system, and I've got a Smart Moto delete kit for that as well, with block off plates and a electronic block off. So first things first, once I get rid of the evap, I can then get my fingers into the bolts which hold the fan on, so I can take the fan off, which means I can delete the fan. So all up, I'm probably evap, AIS, fan, stand, anything else I've deleted is probably somewhere around the 5 kilo mark total. That's a fair bit of weight saving, so let's get into it. So the evap is actually held on by a couple of little things. It's this section right here. And what it does is it takes evaporative emissions out of the tank and uses it to burn in combustion. So it's a couple of little things you've got to do. For one, you've got to get rid of this module here, and this is the purge valve. You've got to block that off. So you get a electronic plug to block off the purge valve block off plug, and you've got to remove this whole canister here, which takes up heaps and heaps of space. So this just has to go. Like, you can see how much space it takes up. Once this goes, I'll probably also get rid of the ABS module, because that's about another half a kilo, and we might just end up running race lines the whole way back and to the front. But yeah, let's get this off first. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is just detach everything so that I can get to everything easily. So all of these clips are just holding everything in my way, so I want to be able to get to it all. So I'll just start cutting all of these little clips off, which means I can start getting to things. Here we go, opens it all up for me. I've got some more clips over this side. There we go. Okay, here's my evap unit. So a lot of this is going to go. First up, we're going to take the plug off. And we're going to fix up this plug with the new evap plug. Which is right here. Cool, evap plug done. We'll tie that off and put it up with these ones up here. And then the evap system itself can also come out. Okay, so there's like, I don't know, I'm gonna say 300 grams right there. You can see fuel coming out of it. That's the evaporative fuel out of the tank. Job done. So there's a couple of hoses that run from the evap. One runs from the tank down to the evap. That hose we're going to replace with a new hose running the whole way down, and we're going to let that bleed at the bottom. And then we're going to block off the evap feeder to the ignition. So that's this one here. So this is going to get a block off put in it, and that's your evap delete done. Simple as. It's been a while since I've done this, and I'm pretty sure that AIS on this side, on the front cylinder, sits on the front, on the right side. So I've got to take the ABS module off and pull it out. On top of that, in order to get to the AIS sensor, that's actually back here. So I've got to take this plastic piece, which houses the ECU, I've got to pull that out here, which means I've got to take all these bolts out and unclip everything so that I can get in behind it. So it's actually not a small job. So I'm going to speed this all up because it's probably going to take me about an hour. I don't know why I build bikes on a Saturday night. So there it is, the AIS faceplate right there. Way better, way cleaner. And here's the other one that we're gonna get rid of. So this is attached to the actual tube. That's all going. This side's way easier. It's like out in the open. As soon as you take the plastics off, it's just right in front of you. New faceplate on. There you go, another one done. Much, much cleaner. Look at that, smart motor, very cool. Done. And we're just gonna pull the tube through. This is the tube we took off before. And then this unit right here, this is the actual AIS unit, which goes into the back of the earbox. So that's what we're gonna take off. This is the actual plug. So we should just be able to get a screwdriver in there and get that plug off. Okay, I am pretty well spent. I could probably keep stripping just a little bit more, but like here's the fan. That's another probably kilo all up, that's gone. Pretty much all the deletes I think I can do now are done other than the ABS, and I've still got to buy the lines for that. The bike is pretty much in a state where I can clean it. You don't need to see me cleaning a bike. Cleaning's cleaning. I could put something sexy on and clean it if you really want me to, but I don't think that's gonna sell records. So yeah, so next up, we're just waiting on the front end to arrive from the Ukraine and USA. That should get here this week. We'll be able to build it out and then actually get this bike back on wheels. Then we've got suspension, we've got fairings, we've got all the performance parts, and this bike is gonna look absolutely sick. So again, if you haven't seen what the design is gonna be, it's gonna be a type of Ferrari build, and jump on my Instagram and you'll be able to check out the post where that is sort of teased. But yeah, if you like this video, subscribe and like, and you know the drill. Thanks for watching, stay tuned. So as you can see, my garage is getting a little bit busy. We've got the V2 Panigale that we're working on today. Over here, we've got my mate Andy's RS660, and this is almost fully functioning and back on its wheels. But for today, it's all about this. And this is probably the biggest parts haul we've ever done in this channel's history. So stay tuned. So we've got absolutely everything we're throwing at this bike. I'll thank my sponsors a little bit later as we go through these parts, but this is the biggest box in question because this cost me more than a Panigale. I could have had an $899 Panigale for the same cost as what's in this box. So you might call me mad, others might call me a genius, but let's check it out. I have got so much carbon, I don't even know where to start, but I think I've got all up 18 pieces of carbon fiber here. And for one, I just hope they sent me the right thing. But look, thank you RPM Carbon. And if you're watching this, please, please, please give me a massive discount next time, because this cost me so much money. But let's start getting it unpacked. Okay, we've got an engine cover, got another engine cover, suspension cover, well, that's nice. That's the rear seat unit. That looks very, very cool. Frame cover, and I think that goes on the bottom of that, just like that. That's awesome. So let's start by getting some of this awesome carbon on the bike. I'm almost worried I've got too much carbon, but I think once you see the design and you see it painted and come to life, you'll agree it's just right. Oh my God, that is tight. So I'm just gonna try and drill this out. It's never as easy as I thought. I'm actually gonna have to unplug the O2 sensor off the exhaust, feed that back through, just so I can take this off and maybe even loosen the subframe off. One more thing off, probably $50 on eBay, if I'm lucky. So I didn't actually film the pain, but that's an absolute bitch to get on. It took me ages. So even though this rear shock's gonna be replaced pretty soon, I just wanna see how it looks with a nice carbon cover on it. So let's take this old plastic one off. Oh no, please don't strip. Oh, thank God. Okay, so we've got both side covers, frame covers, and engine covers on, and they look pretty smoking hot. We've got the rear seat tail unit on, we've got the exhaust cover on, we've got the suspension cover on, I've got the rear hugger on. So I'm pretty happy with the carbon so far. There's still a bit to go, but I've also picked up this. So it's a front lowered triple. I don't know why I said front. It's a lowered triple. It's off an 1199S, so I'm pretty sure it'll fit. I think any V2 fits the V2. Anyway, I've had to get new bearings pressed. These are not Ducati bearings, so they're not tapered like a Ducati bearing, which means I need to get the bearing races out of the actual frame. And for the life of me, it is so difficult. Like, I can't see where there's like a little recess down there where I would punch it out. So I think it's time to call in the big guns. So whilst waiting for those, I've been down to Cube Moto. If you need anything Ducati related, go to Cube Moto. I'll put a link in the description. These guys are great. They've got an OEM website and they've got a performance parts website. On top of that, they've got a Ducati race team, so they know their stuff. And I picked up a set of Spider reverse shift rear sets. So let's see if at least we can get those on while we wait for our guru to arrive. So they sent you a pretty cool pack with everything all itemized, so that is cool. But, they do. Instructions. So as much as I'm a male and I love to not follow instructions, these are actually pretty handy. So yeah. I gotta be honest, that looks pretty shit hot. Only thing I've got to do is just mount the exhaust on it, so it just goes through that same bottom bolt. I've just got to get a bolt long enough. So, another job done. And that was quite fiddly, but I think it was worth it. So now we're cooking. Our triple is back with the correct bearing on it, and we've also got our new top bearing. So just there, we've got our Ducati top bearing. So we can replace this all, put it all back in. We've got some new bolts for it as well. Job done. So let me show you what we've got. And we've picked this up from one of our sponsors. We have got an awesome selection of CNC racing gear. So we've got a start-stop button. We've got left side switch gear with M&M buttons. We've got right side switch gear with integrated throttle control. We've got these things, front wheel spacers for the brakes. On the rear, we've got a new sprocket drive, and we've got a nice gold cush drive, gold on black. That's gonna go with the theme. Remember, this is a Ferrari themed bike. So the other thing I've done today is I went down and found this for $150 on Facebook Marketplace. It's an OEM rear, so that should fit nicely on the back of the bike. Right there, and that way we can have a much, much better looking tail than a race tail. So it means I've got a spare race tail sitting here. And then once all that goes on, we can try and do a mock fit up of the fairing. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. It's looking better already. However, this is pretty obviously bent. So we've got a new one of those that we've just picked up today, which is right here. So in order to put that on, we've got to strip off all of this. So this is all going to come off. You'll notice I took the remains of the steering damper off, but I've left a screw in there so I can keep that. And the beauty about these, and this is why I love these so much, and a lot of people will disagree with me, and they'll all say, go and buy something that's aftermarket, it's better. But sometimes OEM is better, and I'll show you why. When I want to align my clip-ons here, I've got a perfect little indent right there where this top nut sits into that indent in the bottom of the top triple. Now to me, that is master of design, because that is exactly where I want to be riding in that position. Okay, bar is on. Next up, switchgear. So this is the integrated switchgear, and the way this works is it actually goes where the throttle used to go. So it's the throttle actually I don't know why I said that, just goes into it. So into it, like that. So let's get that done. We are done. We are race buttoned up to the hilt. Now, I probably could have done it quicker, but I was watching MotoGP sprint race, so go Jorge. Actually, go Mark, to be honest, but he didn't win. Anyway, so we've got the start-stop, and that works. Brilliant. Racing Evo, love it. We've got the CNC integrated switchgear over the right-hand side here. That's integrated with the throttle, and the throttle works, and we've got a throttle, the throttle spaces, say throttle 10 times fast. You can't, you just cannot do it. Anyway, and then on the left, I've got the integrated race buttons with the the clutch master, but my clutch lever is too long because by the time I put my bar end protector on here, I need a shorter one. So I'm gonna need a slightly shorter clutch clutch lever. Other than that, that is done. Now I'm just gonna fit this rear. That's only a couple of nuts to fit that. And then we are going to attack our fairings. Now, if you wanna get some pretty shit hot fairings for your bike, hit up Cube Moto. I'll put the link in the description. Probably not as cheap as Profiber, but like the quality of the finish, wow, so much. I won't say better, but just it's going to take me less prep work, I think. That's how I'll put it. So yeah, well worth the money. Probably paid a little bit more for this build than I wanted to, just because I want some better parts on it. And it is starting to come together. So I know it doesn't look like much now, but you wait until it's painted, you wait till it's dynoed, and all the other carbon gets put on it, and all the other race parts. And I don't know if I'll get it all done in this video, but there's a lot still to go. Now normally, when I'm putting a fairing on, I would work top to bottom, and that's because you get the guidance bolt holes from here, which means you can just line these two holes up, do the drilling, put two nuts in, so put two bolts in to hold it in place, and then let it sit there whilst you start to put the sides and the bottom on, and then fix the bottom at the back. And that's pretty much the two or three bolts you do just to hold it in place before you then clamp it all together and go and pre-drill it all. However, this new fairing doesn't have any hole markers. So I've actually got to figure out where those holes go on the fairing. So I'm actually thinking I might do this one back to front and start from the bottom up. Exactly the same way you should eat one of these. If I could open it. clearly gonna have to do some mods to this fairing. So you can see here, it's actually touching the pipe at the back. We can't have that, so I'm gonna have to cut. Like, this is a beautiful edge too. I wish I didn't have to cut it. I mean, it fits nicely here, that's cool. It's got a nice straight line there, but I'm gonna have to cut this, and then again on the other side, you can see where it's touching just there. So if you have a look, this is the mount point here. It's supposed to go in that hole there. There's a difference of about an inch, maybe an inch and a bit. So I'm gonna have to cut some out of here so we can just lift it up. Otherwise this pipe is in the way. This SC Project actually takes up quite a bit of space. Like if you look, if I pull it up, I'm still at least, yeah, I'm about an inch away. So I don't think I can squeeze it up anymore at the front either. It's pretty tight in there, to be honest. But so far, it looks pretty nice. So this bike is coming together awesome. We've still got the final thing to do, which is the first start, and we haven't tried starting this beast yet, so fingers crossed it actually runs, because I would hate to think I've spent this much money on a bike and all of a sudden it's just a complete lemon. We've done a few things in the last couple of days that I haven't bothered filming too much. We've got our replacement front wheel arrived, we've put our bar ends on, we've fixed up our fairings a little bit, we've fixed up our switchgear as well and just made it a little bit cleaner. We've also included a RC19S Corsa quarter from Moto Mia, so the bike is starting to look like a whole package. And now is actually the moment of truth, because we're gonna try and do a first start. I don't even know if the battery has any charge, because I put it on charge and it started flashing at me, so fingers crossed. I'll just prime the tank once or twice. And now let's see if this baby starts. That sounds awesome. How good does that sound? It sounds really throaty, like it doesn't sound like a V4 at all. It's been that long since I've had a V2 up and running, but oh, man, to have that actually start the first time is a massive bonus. So now, onwards and upwards, we can start prepping our fairing. We've still got some more parts from Moto Mia coming from CNC Racing to really bling this bike up a bit more. We've got a full suspension package coming as well from YSS and Suspensions R Us, so that'll be in the next episode. We've got to do the rear hub from CNC Racing Moto Mia, that's got to go on. And then basically we're at paint and dyno, so not much left to finish this bike. And then the next episode from us will actually be either on the BMW S1000RR or maybe even a track day this Sunday. So stay tuned, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, you know the drill. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel and the 2020 V2 Panigale build. And if you haven't been watching, 4 weeks ago, this bike was a complete wreck. So far we've stripped and rebuilt what we can, and we've had a few challenges along the way. This whole front end needs to be replaced. The front wheel is completely buckled. And now it's a race to the finish line, because by the end of this episode, we need to get our Ferrari themed Panigale finished and do that design justice. And the first job we've got to do is finish off the front end, because this is no good. So we're going to throw it out. We did get another wheel, but that also turned out to be rubbish. So that was an eBay waste of money. However, we just picked this up for $800 and we've already had a slick fitted at Moto Garage. So new wheel, new brake discs, time to get this front end rebuilt. But before we jump into that, check this out. Another huge table full of goodies. We've got parts from YSS, Suspensions R Us, CNC Racing, Moto Mia. We've got it all. So this is gonna be epic. Well, those nuts were ridiculous. First injury of the day so far, but check this out. Look how bent they are. So lucky for me, we picked up a new set, $140 on eBay, and they should do the trick. I'm just one bolt short because I've managed to shear one bolt off, and that could be a pain in the ass. So then it's on with the new discs. Quick tighten them down and give them some Loctite, and then torque them down to spec. And then I always mark my torque marks as well. And then time for the wheel to go back in. God knows how many times I've taken this on and off. So I'm gonna do away with the caliper bolts that are on there because they're heavy as shit and they just look ugly. And I've got these, some very nice Pro Bolt pre-drilled race bolts. So I'm just gonna mock up the front end for now because I've actually got to take these forks back out because we've got a pretty awesome upgrade happening on these forks in about 2 days. So I'm just mocking it up so I can move the bike onto the other ramp, and that's actually the ramp that works that I can actually lift up because I'm 6'2", I don't want to be working at ground level. I just about forgot something. CNC Racing, these are from Moto Mia, Australia. So how cool do they look? They're the Spacers. We've gone with a black and gold theme, and we're gonna do some more CNC parts in this episode as well. Well, final episode. So this should make the bike pop a little bit. And once you see the paint later on, you'll understand why we've gone with gold. So the chain's off and we've got access to the hub. We've taken the hub off. So here's the hub and we're gonna pull that apart because we've got some pretty kick-ass bling from one of our sponsors, Moto Mia. And if you haven't checked them out already, make sure you jump on, message them on Instagram and see what you can get your hands on because we've got some pretty cool black and gold CNC Racing quick release components for the rear, including a sprocket carrier and a hub quick release. So gold and black. 2 new sets of nuts, including big wheel nuts, and we are good to go. So let's get this all pulled apart, get the cush drivers apart, get it all back together, get it back on the bike, and then once that side of the wheel is done, we can actually probably take the wheel off, go and get the slick put on it, and then that's most of the back of the bike done, apart from a new chain, because we had to cut the other one off. So let's get into it. So I've just realized how much work I've actually still got to get done in such a short space of time. I've got the wheel off now. I'm going to shoot over to Moto Garage and get the slick put on that. I've got suspension package, that's got to go in and it's got to be professionally put in. I've got a paint it, I've got decals which haven't even arrived yet. All this for Saturday and it's already Tuesday, so keep your fingers crossed. Perfect. It's almost as though you're a mechanic. So our tyres on, thanks Motor Garage, and we also picked up a 520, really nice chain, RK Racing, and it's got some gold spec on it as well, and a set of Brembo Racing brake pads. So they can go on a little bit later. But let's get this tyre on. Wheel on, I should say. We'll put our new CNC Racing nut on as well. Tighten that up and another job done. So now I'm starting to feel like we're making progress. So it's the next morning and I've done a couple of other little things just to speed up the process. I've got the paint booth blowing up outside. I've gone and got some extra hardener for the paint, and then I've just started sanding down some of the fairings where they had stickers on them, just to get rid of the Ducati sticker and get rid of the residue from this, the side tank pad. But I've just found a tiny little dent in the tank just here. So I'm just going to use some body filler, fill that up, and whilst that's hardening, I'm going to start undercoating the rest. Now once that's dried, I know it looks thick, but once it's dried in about an hour or so, I'll be able to sand it back and prep and prime the tank as well. Fingers crossed we might actually make it on the deadline that we've got. So we're all set up in here. This is ready to do our first coat of primer. I'm trying something a bit new. I'm actually trying to position the pieces as though they would sit on a bike. So I was told this by a friend of mine. He seems to think it'll work. So I'm gonna give it a go. I bought a $20 clothesline and I can just attach the pieces there. I've got a piece hung up over the other side there. I'm just gonna wait for that tank to get ready. So we're gonna prime these, but before we do, I wanna show you something else. Because we have got some awesome performance parts for this bike. And we've got our full suspension package here from YSS Australia, Suspensions R Us. I'll put a link below as to where you can get these awesome parts for your bike. So yeah, massive thanks to those guys. Let's unbox it and have a quick look at what we've got. Okay, so this is the race steering damper. It's got 30 clicks of adjustment. It's pretty awesome. But check this out. This is the Race 456W rear shock. See if we can get our fat fingers to open this box. Look at that. That is nice. Very, very cool. So let's check out where that's going to go. So you'll have to imagine that going right there. We're going to take this old one off, take the carbon cover off, and put this on pretty soon, I think. And then on top of that, we've got our front cartridge kit. So this is the 30mm racing front cartridge kit. This is getting installed tomorrow by one of our professional friends who has a pretty big footprint on the world superbike scene. So we'll get that installed off camera because he's a bit shy, and we'll bring that back as a complete set of forks all installed. So if you do want to check out how it looks to have them installed, I'll put a link up here for one of the videos where we installed them on one of our previous V4 Panigales. So prime the fairings, wait for that to dry. Whilst that's drying, put as much of the suspension pieces on as possible, sand the prime fairings, and then we can start painting. So we've still got a lot to do. So whilst all the fairings are drying in the sun, before we can start doing a mock-up and then figure out where our paint's gonna go, I figured I'll try something I've never tried before. I'm not gonna go too crazy because Matt from Clean Ride is gonna detail this bike when it's done. But I've just got some Scotch Brite, some metal polish, some alcohol, and I'm gonna see if I can just bring this pipe up a little bit better, even though like someone more professional than me is gonna do it, let's just say that. It's important to go with the grain, which most commonly is across it. And I really just want to do the face. I think Matt will probably take it off and redo it, but it's already starting to come up better. Wow, less than 5 minutes and already starting to look better. I'll keep at it. So this is where we're at. We've actually done a mock-up of where the yellow stripe. So remember, this is a Ferrari, and I'll put the design up here again. This is what we're going for. This is the 812 Speciale in Grigio alloy and Medina Giallo yellow. So the yellow is going to be down the center here. This was really super hard to get a perfectly straight line. I had to come up with my own little mechanism of, I cut out a piece of cardboard and held it over the top a few stages, just to try and get the exact distance. So this is all going to be yellow in the middle, Grigio alloy on the outsides, and then we've got some wheel striping, which is bright yellow. We've got some extra yellow decals, including Ferrari decals for the bike and some Ducati decals. But the problem is, how do I even paint this? Like, I've done multicolors before, but this is the one thing that stresses me. So I'm thinking I should start with the yellow and then go the alloy and then go the black stripes. So yeah, fingers crossed. Anyway, let's start mixing paint. Let's get the paint booth all ready. Okay, so check, oh no. Okay, so check this out. This is the yellow. This is Ferrari Medina Giallo yellow, and that's pretty bright. So that's gonna be awesome on the bike. So let's get our first coat done. I've got these bigger pots as well, 400 ml pots, so I should be able to mix up more and then not have to do so many repeats. So in my previous bikes, I was going back and forward trying to refill up my tiny little 125 ml pot. So now I'm thinking 2 to 1, maybe I'll go 200 and 100. Sweet. 2 to 1, heaps more this time. Give it a good stir. Everything's all set up to paint. A little bit nervous. Let's rock and roll. Okay, painting time. So I've also made some nice yellow, these are the same yellow vinyl as the paint. I've made some rim stripes. Now, they're not perfect, but it is a race bike. So I've got them on the front and I've got them on the back. Check them out. So the yellow is done. That was actually 4 coats of yellow. I had to go a little bit heavier because it just I didn't want any of those marks coming through. So I'm just gonna peel this off now, and then let me think. If I peel this off, we can reverse mask, and then we can do the alloy. Yes, that's correct. Once you see it against white, it's quite yellow. It's definitely the same as a rim tape. And look at that, nice and straight lines. What a day. I am exhausted and I'm only half done. I have reverse masked everything now, so it's good to go for the alloy color. We've got a couple of pieces hanging up as well, and fingers crossed this works. I'm still going to do the black stripe between the yellow and the alloy color. I'm not sure if I'm going to use paint or if I'm going to use vinyl, but we shall find out. Yeah. Let's get it done. Now it's the next day. Let's do a quick recap of where we're at in this build. And some other exciting news. This bike, the Aprilia RSV4 RF, has just sold overnight. So goodbye bike, I love you, but time for another build. So the front end is off the bike. That is actually with my wife. She's got the forks. She's taken them down to a friend of ours who's going to do the install. But let's come out here and have a look at what we've got prepped for the final phase of the painting. So we've got everything sitting up where it should be, ready for its clear coat. We've still got to do around the yellow, we've still got to do the black, but we've got some black pinstripe on the way. So it's time to do some clear coat. 3 coats, lay the first coat down relatively light, and then 2 relatively wet heavy coats, a few minutes in between each. And try not to stuff it up. Okay, so the forks have come back and we've got the new YSS cartridges in them. So let's get those on the bike whilst we're waiting for that clear coat to dry. Now it's the fun part. We actually get to put finished fairings. Well, I've still got the stickers to go on them, but it's all coming together. I've still got a bit to do. We've still got to tune the bike. There's a few other things. But next up, I've got this. This is a new tinted screen. So this is gonna go on right here. And then I've got to put all the stickers, all the decals on it. And some of them I haven't even got yet. So I might try and cut some myself. And this is either gonna go really good or terribly wrong. It's pretty bright, isn't it? I don't know if I was expecting it to be that bright. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like in the sun. Top two bolts are drilled and put in place, so that holds it in place. So now I take the front back off, and then I can actually drill from the back because the holes are already pre-drilled on the screen. Smarter thinking up here. So you've watched this long, might as well see it. 3, 2, 1, here we go. So there you go, another bike done, and this was an absolute dream build of mine. I really wanted to do a Ferrari themed bike justice. I think we've done that. I think it looks absolutely sensational. This color is just to die for. Obviously we'll have another video on the dyno because we're going to tune this bike next week, and then we'll try and get it out on track the week after. So we'll film both of those and we'll share that with you as soon as we can get it. But thanks for watching. I hope you loved the build series. There'll be another one coming shortly. Stay tuned, like, subscribe, you know the drill. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we are back. It may sound like I'm in a small room because I am. I'm in a dyno and we're at Motor Garage, and today we're gonna see how much power this baby can make us. And as usual, there are 2 donuts on the line for this. So all bets are on. Let's see how much power she makes. Okay, so we have done 2 same but different V2s in this dyno before. We've done a 955 2020, was it a 2020 I think we did? Yeah, 2021 maybe. That was the black bike we built, and then we also did the 959, the crazy blue bike we built. Both of those got dynoed in here, so we're gonna see if we can get some similar numbers. We'll do a power run first, but more importantly, how do we decide, Brett, who gets the pumpkin spice donut or the caramel?
What about maple bacon?
There's no maple bacon donuts. That would be pretty cool. I think we go
maple bacon from Brooklyn Cream.
Okay, couldn't afford maple bacon because I'm broke. How about we go closest to the mark gets the caramel, and the other person's stuck with the veggie.
What do we got? What exhaust?
We've got a SC Project slip-on, so it's not a full exhaust.
148.
148. Okay, I'm gonna go 150. Well, this is a stock run, yeah?
Yeah.
So stock run, I'm gonna go 153. He's 148. This is donut on the line for this one, as usual. It's weird. It sounds like not much. I'm just used to these bigger bikes that are, 185 to 210. So
No.
at least it looks good. So we've had our first casualty so far, and I don't know why I'm laughing, because look at that. I have just burnt straight through my fairing and my beautiful paint job. So now I'm gonna take this bottom fairing off, and before it gets any worse, and I'm gonna have to respray that over the weekend and put some heat shielding on the inside. So I've learned something. Use heat shielding and yeah, save yourself the pain. I don't even understand what half those zeros are. Okay, so a bit of power on that time, 145.9 or something like that. And it's got some issues through the middle of the rev range, so we're gonna do what we can to smooth that out. And I'm just starting to sound like I know what I'm talking about. I have no fucking idea.
We're going to make all the horsepower.
We're gonna make all the horses power.
Yeah. And we're going to fix it between 5 and 6.6, and then we're going to fix the top end, make it smooth, nice to run.
Is that a prison tattoo on your arm?
Yeah. Yeah, in jail with you.
Jail with you for life.
Yeah.
Bunk buddies for life. So I actually reckon we're going to get 152 plus out of this.
Oh, I've changed my password. What have I changed my password to?
I wish I was still on prison.com.
Yes.
Okay, so how we go for top power? We're 150.
150.
So we're about
150 horsepower from we started with
So we started at 145.
145.
Okay, so we're up by 5. It's not quite as smooth as the Van Diemen through the middle of the power range, but it's pretty close. What was the max power gain at what point?
Oh, hang on.
So we started at 143, not 145. So 7 horsepower extra between 5 and 6,500 revs. That's pretty good. And then another 7 horsepower on the top. So that's pretty good. That's where we wanted it. 150.15. Not quite the 152 that I was hoping for, but pretty close. I've got a bit of stuff left to fix on this bike. Obviously I've got to fix up that lower fairing now. So yeah. Well, it's the next day. We obviously had some problems on the dyno, which we're going to address now. But luckily the dyno itself was a success. So 151 horsepower, but it did highlight a few little issues with my build. So a couple of things just weren't done up tight enough. So they're all done now. So the rear sets are perfect. The shifter, so we can now shift into first. So there's no problems with that. But the biggest problem is this. You'll notice the belly pan is missing. And that's because obviously far too much heat and it burnt out. So we have just resprayed the whole bottom of the belly pan, and we've also included like a section for like a number plate. So this is all white now. I'm going to put some pinstriping around the edge, and then I've made up some more decals, some big oneL decals as like a bit of a proxy for a number to go on there as well. So whilst that goes on there, that's one cool thing. The other thing is we've also heat wrapped some of the exhaust. You'll see some titanium heat wrap there, but most of it is on this side, because this is the side that burnt the absolute crap out of the fairing. So on top of that heat wrap, we've got something else as well. So we've got this. This is heat shield, and this is gonna go inside the fairing. So it's gonna go inside that fairing as soon as it's dry. And then we can reinstall it all and have a look at how it actually looks as a complete bike. Again, there's one other small thing we did, is we replaced a couple of decals. Ferrari decal was really just for looks. It wasn't gonna stay there forever. So I've actually replaced it with a really nice Ducati decal. So again, it flows quite nicely. It's pretty much the same shape as what the Ferrari one was. And then the very last thing is this here. So this is our block off plate for the rear. And this comes with something else, which is a rear light delete. So I thought we'd put one on, but we obviously hadn't, because it came up with an error code on the actual testing system. So this is gonna clean up the look of the back of the bike a little bit. I think that just goes up in there and sits there. So it's gonna look a lot neater having that there. So that's gonna go in place, and we're gonna put that rear light delete in as well. Okay, so now I think I can actually say the bike is finished, and I've done some final detailing to it. I've obviously put the race number down the bottom, so the oneL race number and that white race number section. I've fixed up everything that we sort of understood to be not quite finished when we did the dyno. And you can almost treat the dyno a bit like a run-in test. This bike will be on track this weekend though, so next weekend. So if you're in Brisbane, I hope to see you there at Lakeside, so that would be cool. And I guess I can say that now the bike is actually finished. And I've got to be honest, I think this is probably one of my favorite builds to date. I did want to thank all of my sponsors, so I'll just run through them quickly. Moto Mia Brisbane, I'll put the details for them below. Cube Moto on the Gold Coast, again, details in the description. Moto Garage for all the help you've given me, thank you so much. YSS Suspension and Suspensions R Us, and I'm trying to think who else there is. Clean Ride Brisbane. There's a few, so if I've missed you, sorry, but again, thank you for all your help. So yeah, onwards and upwards, on to the next build. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, you know the drill. Peace out. You know what? I almost forgot. Let's fire it up one last time.